This episode may contain graphic language and descriptions, nicotine use, and may not be suitable for younger audiences. Opinions expressed in this episode are of the minds and experiences of the participants and do not represent those of any other people, organizations, groups, or recovery-based fellowships that may be mentioned. We speak only for ourselves.
God bless you. We love you, and we hope you hear something that helps you. Thanks for listening. Oh, shit. Hell yeah. All right. Well, so part 2.
Back at it, brother.
Of Jeremy forgetting to plug the laptop in. Laptop dying at around 50 minutes. When really we only got like 20 minutes worth of Peel and Onions content.
And we're back 2 days later.
Because of our... I timed it today. Well, I looked at it today. 34 minutes of our ESPN segment.
So you got a Union game coming up, dude?
Union game is in about an hour and a half. I'm sorry. Yeah, an hour and a half. Home game. Dollar Dog Night.
Yeah?
Because I guess the Phillies just don't want to do that anymore. Yeah.
Not making enough money, dude, on those $12 beers. You know? Might be more than that now.
I don't know, dude. You would think a stadium that sells out in like... that will be sold out in March can like afford to like do a Dollar Dog. I guess 2 for the price of 1 isn't too bad though, right? Because people are going to buy the fucking hot dogs. Like I'm going to buy the hot dogs. Honestly, if they were $10, I would probably buy a hot dog.
If they were 25, I'd buy the hot dog. It's just what you do.
It's just, yeah, because it's for the experience, right? Yeah. You're going to buy the dog.
You can't be cost cutting when you go to the game, dude.
No.
Unless you're smart enough to bring shit in, and I'm not.
I do bring shit in. I get a...
Primo, right?
Yes. We go to Primo's, and I usually get... what is it? The whacked chicken cutlet sandwich. I get it in a wrap, though. And it's just... what is it? Is there pesto in it? I'm blanking on what's in it, but it's really good. They got bruschetta and chicken cutlets. I know that. And sharp provolone, I think.
I'm amazed they let you bring it in because hot dogs and Hatfield Italian sausage are good at the game. Everything else sucks.
I don't think I've gotten a sausage at the game.
No? You never,
get them the
never hit the Hatfield stand, dude? Sausage with pep and onion?
No.
You got
I usually don't get peppers and onions on a sausage sandwich.
It's very good. It's like my go-to at the stadium. Because every time I get a cheesesteak, I'm like not happy.
Oh yeah, what you get
you get Tony Luke's.
You got Phillips there too, don't they?
I think so. What's the pizza they brought in there a year or 2 ago? Big South Jersey chain.
I don't know.
Begins with an M.
I thought they brought in Grotto's Pizza from Delaware.
No, so it's one of the ones that's at the shore. It's only at Ocean City and one other one. It begins with an M.
I don't know.
They got those mini pizzas.
Mamma Mia's. No.
Couldn't tell if that was an outburst or.
Yeah, that's one of my ticks, for sure. Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go get back at my golf fever today, bro. I got work to do.
Okay.
I refuse to just shoot the scores I'm shooting anymore. I'm at a place of desperation. I'm ready and willing.
Sweet.
I'm getting into the 70s this year.
Nice.
How thrilled does it make you to hear that?
Good luck. I don't know. About as thrilled as you were to ask me about what time the Union game is.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, but I appreciate golf, though. And I mean, honestly, the only reason I would get into golf is because of everything that the sport can do for you outside of the sport. That's about the only reason I would. It's like the same reason that like I'm going to end up, well, hopefully this year I'll have enough money to join to be a Freemason. It's the same thing. I'm not doing it to say that I am. It's just everything that will probably end up coming with it over the few years.
Yeah, dude, golf's the best fellowship on earth, and I'm sure being a Freemason's right up that alley.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So the exact point that we left off of the thing. So I forgot to plug the laptop in the last time we were recording, just for listeners' information. And then I noticed the rings around my camera were not on. You see how that light's on the camera? That was not on. And I was like, hold the phone, let me go look. And my screen was totally blank, dark, powered down.
The light's on and the plastic's off.
The plastic is off now. Yeah, shouts to Larry.
Shout out to Larry.
Yeah. And luckily we didn't miss too much of what we were saying, but the last thing that we were talking about was you being intrigued about the ordering of the aspects of step 10 in the big book. And you were asking me if I thought it was in order for a reason. And it's cool because I don't like what I said. I'm going to say what I was trying to say before and say no.
You don't think it's in order for a reason?
Well, I don't think it's in. I guess that's again, like I'm going to end up talking fucking way too much about it. I think it's in order for his reason and maybe their reason, but I don't think there's like dogmatism in like the step 10 practices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. Like I think Bill tended to word things and write things the way he experienced them. But yeah, I just like found it so interesting because in the fellowship, you'll hear all over the place, well, did you call your sponsor? You had a problem and you didn't call your sponsor, right? How many times did we hear in the spot? I'm back here because I was struggling and didn't call my sponsor.
Yeah.
Right. But then in the book,
they didn't give you a discount or anything.
No. And then in the book, we actually start by going to like the power, like tapping in with our higher power. But I agree with you, man. Like from my experience, it can go either way as long as I'm doing both.
Yeah.
You know,
as long as I'm attempting to change like whatever situation needs to be changed. Or addressing whatever feeling needs to be addressed. Like, as long as I'm doing something about it and not just like impulsively and emotionally reacting to the feeling and acting out defectively like I did for all those years, because that's my old habit and my old behavior to do that, then like that's progress. So like, and as long as you're trying, like you're doing all right.
Yeah, dude, and I really feel like eventually I'm gonna get to the spot I need to be to like let it go or actually work on it. Like I was thinking about step 10 since we talked about it last, because I haven't really thought about like my journey with that for a while.
Okay.
Like I have a practice that I do and that is very imperfect, but I haven't just like thought about the step because I haven't worked with anybody on it in a while or spoke on it in a while. And it's like I was thinking about how many times I have run into the same roadblock before I'm finally ready to let go of it or actually try to address it, you know? And like, I don't know. I would imagine everybody has some version of that.
I think so.
Dude,
yeah.
There are just some things where it's just like wall, fuck, no, your fault. And then finally like, I might need to work on this.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, like I get to the you might need to work on this part pretty quickly, and then all of my walls came like afterwards, and then it's not until I always say like it's kind of almost like talking on like giving up like character defects, I guess, but in that regard, I need to my pattern, which I'm trying to work on, is I have to experience enough pain in the area before like a change actually happens and like sustains and sticks. It's just like the same reason that I got sober, because the pain was good enough.
Yeah, I'm actually going through one of those right now, man. Like I was starting to get into this our last sesh before we realized it wasn't recording. But like just to throw an example at that, and this will probably like make more sense based on recent conversations we've had. So, you know how like you've been giving me the suggestion lately to hit more meetings?
Yeah.
So, here's a pattern that I've experienced for probably like my whole recovery, but a good couple years that I'm aware of. It goes like this. I go from a place of like connectedness, meeting attendance, social, good situation with the wifey, right? All is well. And then I completely pull away from it and start kind of like going back into my shell a little bit. I start kind of like, just this is too much like fucking real life adulthood. Like let me fall back and do my own thing a little more. I pull back from the meetings. I kind of pull back from like just my healthy habits, and I go right back to pain.
Yeah.
Then I kick back up again. Then I go right back. And it's like, I don't know, man. I think that it speaks to what we were talking about last time with that childhood shit, dude. It's like I think that when I feel too a part of life and too engaged in all these different things, it's like I start losing control. So then I kind of pull back and start trying to regain control. And unfortunately, that comes with me going right back into my shell.
Yeah.
Like our buddy Bob at my home group said to me once, and this is so true. He said, I have never met anybody who is more skilled at disappearing in plain sight than Nick. And like, it was funny, but dude, it was fucking fiery true. Because that really is what I do.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's like, it's funny, like through the lens of what we're talking about, man, like I have noticed this and struggled by it for years, but like haven't quite gotten to the other side.
Yeah, and there are some people that are probably listening to this that know this way more than others, but because they like lived with me or saw it firsthand or whatever. My recovery has always kind of been like not a roller coaster in terms of like emotions, although it has been that, but like a roller coaster in terms of how in the middle of it I am and how dedicated I am, how like not in like an egotistical way, but like selflessly devoted to the program I choose to let myself be. Like there's been times like it happened in South Philly a bunch where, because it's so easy, in my opinion, it's easy to get sober in the city. And it might sound backwards because of like, well, isn't that where everything is? And it's like, yeah, so is kind of like everywhere else though. You know what I mean? Like everything's kind of everywhere. And it sounded kind of
real quick
really
though,
weird.
dude. I get that. Like the city has a vibe to it where I haven't experienced firsthand what you just said, but I've experienced how easy it is to be a fuck up in the city.
Yeah.
So if I was really good at that, like all of the access and just the street signs and the vibe and the culture, like it's really easy to be a fuck up in the city.
Yeah.
And I would imagine on the complete opposite end of that coin, it's easy to tap into everything that's there when you're ready.
Yeah. Like recovery is like resources to get and stay sober are as prevalent as drugs and alcohol in the city.
Yep.
As far as my observation goes, like there were, I know of our recovery house and two other recovery houses that were like a stone's throw from like South 7th Street, which is where like on like 7th on the south side of Snyder, where a lot of people in recovery houses were overdosing like on bags because they were buying them there. But there's also 3 recovery houses right around them. Whether that's like a cause and effect thing, like I don't know, I don't really care. But with all that being said, like I've had so many moments where I was hitting like, let's say 10 meetings a week, because that like very early on, like that wasn't an outrageous number for me. And then later on it gets to like 7. So we'll say like I was going to a meeting at least once every day for however long I was living in the houses. So like the first 3 years maybe that I was sober. And there were times in that where I would skip one day. I know I just said I went every day, right? But I would skip a day, and then also by also skipping that day, I was like skipping a commitment that I had, or if or like I would make up some reason that I couldn't go speak at like Presbyterian hospital or something in their detox unit, and like give it to try to pawn it off to somebody else. Like there's been, and then when I left the recovery houses, those fluctuations were like intensified because I didn't have the accountability of a recovery house. Like, so I would go like every day. I'd be like the greeter in my home group, or I would be sharing the beginners meeting for a month, which got like 50 people a night at least, and or like every Sunday rather, and then have like one or two speaking commitments somewhere else a week, and just being like on fucking fire, you know what I mean? Picking up everybody to go to the meeting together around the city and all this shit. And then there were times when, after like Madeline and I moved in together, she would be like, dude, I don't think you've been to a meeting in like 2 weeks. Like what have you been doing? And then like I'll end up like unemployed. Like that was around the time when the whole thing with me and RCA started and the whole COVID shit. But like right before that, I'm like, you haven't been to a meeting in a while. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I know. And I mean, I've known that, you know what I mean? Like I usually know in those moments that like I am fucking up and should be doing something else that I was doing before and chose not to. And in recognizing it, I'm still not going to do it. And I'm just gonna, I don't know. I guess we're just signing up for like a little bit of downtime here as far as like self-respect goes.
Yeah, you just spoke my language of like the last like 3 years of my recovery, dude.
Yeah.
Like legitimately exactly how you put it, because I know too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, dude. It's like those fluctuations I'm pretty sure everybody experiences.
I think so.
It's cool how like it sounds like we've both experienced it at different times. Like you talked about early on and then also later.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really expect myself to not have dips sometimes just with life and all of our affairs. What worries me is when I start plunging too far and I start like really pulling back, like that's where something kind of cues me up to like, yo, there's something going on here, bro.
Yeah,
like
when your sensor has like a bit more tolerance than it usually does.
Yeah, you can chalk this up to I got complacent, which is what everybody wants to say. That ain't it.
No.
It is not a simple case of
after a certain amount of time, it's not it.
Like there is something that's blocking me, and like, you know, what we could call it emotional something going on, but like that's where I start getting worried because I feel like I'm living something out and there's something that I need to address, and I really got to pay attention, man. Because like I have a threshold of like in my shell where I'm okay, not great, but laughing and okay. Mm-hmm. And then I have a point where like I'm pretty depressed, dude. Yeah. Like I'm alone. I'm feeling weird in my relationship.
Well,
like,
you're feeling alone, which is different, right? Mm-hmm. And worse, I think. Like when I feel, because I could recognize that is like I'm feeling alone, and then I remember all the other times I felt alone and then went out and pushed through all of my bullshit and just went to the church basement anyway, no matter where I was living, right?
Yep.
And then turns out at the end of the night, I go home smiling, like on cloud 9 again, and I'm like, how fucking out of touch of reality I was just like 3 hours ago, and it was so real to me. And I think back to those moments all the time because I've had a lot of those moments, dude, where like I'm all gung-ho, Dr. AA, whatever, and times where I'm just like, I would really rather not. And then sometimes even it goes as far as to just like, dude, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, why am I doing anything? And it's there, the highs and lows are very much there, but every time I break out of a low, I'm like, why am I feeling like I don't have anybody? Like even if I don't have as many people as I think I should for whatever reason, like there's definitely still people that are here, right? And even if I don't feel like I have enough purpose based on like my expectations and standards, because I got standards now, I guess. And like, but I still have things that like, I still have people that rely on me and like obligations that I have to do and responsibilities and all these other things. And I have purposes. And it's just like, I come out of it just like, dude, I don't even know how the fuck I got into that headspace. But like, you go to one meeting and you're fucking back and like, it's fine. So it's weird shit, dude.
So, dude, just to keep it 100, man, I'm in one of those spots right now, and like I'm.
That is why I said something the other night, for the record.
Yeah, like I'm sure you can probably sense it, dude. Like it was really good, like how simple our conversation was outside the KOP spot the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, but it's I just got a lot of hope that like I'm gonna head in a better direction where like I don't need to pull back as far.
Yeah.
Like I just feel ready to like just open up the you know, the playbook to like, yo, is there just something else going on here? Because like one of the other areas that I feel what we're talking about a lot, like I experience it in my life regularly, is on the social front. So so like not really as much in AA, I guess, but more at work. I have some days when I'm in that pull away in my shell spot where I am walking around talking to everybody, feeling very comfortable, feeling very a part of. Mm-hmm. And I have other times where it's literally hard to like say hello and be a part of it at all.
Relatable. Very relatable, man.
You know, and it's like that's a really interesting, like difficult emotional experience to have, where
it's
like
hard.
you're like, yo, what the fuck? Like, and I'm trying to like compensate for it when it's at the low, and it's coming off like really weird.
Yeah, like
Probably
really forceful.
Yeah, like probably way more weird for me than for anybody else, because no one cares, right?
Well, yeah, because you know what you're dealing with, and you know you're trying to fight it, and you think you're acting differently and trying to fight it, and you think that everybody else somehow knows what you're going through and knows that you're trying to fight it, and then you're like, oh my God, they see how different I'm acting. They know I'm hiding something.
And then you remember that absolutely nobody is thinking that much about you.
Nor, honestly, in like the best way possible, nobody fucking cares.
Exactly.
Like which is, again, I'll say it every time I end up saying it, like is one of the best things that anybody ever said to me.
And dude, there's a difficult part to it and a beautiful part to it.
Yeah.
Like the difficult part to it is that I have to realize how irrelevant I can be at other times to others, and how detached I need to allow myself to be while still a part of my life.
Right.
But the beautiful part about it is, what if people were thinking about me all day, dude? What if my boss went home and sat at dinner and was just stewing on how weird what I said to him was? You know?
I don't know about stewing, but he could be thinking about it.
That, like, hopefully passively, but in my head anyway, like I take that as like beautiful advice. Like, dude, you're not that important, and that's difficult and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
like no one really cares. But like, yeah, dude, in terms of like continuing to kind of work my way through this with like the program and just everything I'm doing, like my goal is to try to see if I can be in the center, but not really allowing myself to pull out. God.
I wasn't going to say a goddamn thing until you started laughing, dude.
I just so
all I know is that I'm definitely not big enough to reach the center. So like that's all I got out of that, dude, is like you got a whole hunk of whatever down there. You got a whole Italian
it's not common where like you invite the other person to throw it out there, but I needed to right there.
all I learned is you're packing a whole Genoa salami down there, bro. Getting all the way up into the center. Right to you're poking the fucking sternum. That's crazy.
That's awesome. But yeah, dude, like that's kind of my goal, is to like just go far enough with my prayers and my like, you know, whatever I'm doing, dude, to just be in the center and like just be like, yo, you really don't need to go anywhere. Like if you don't hit as many meetings or do as much next week as you did this week, fair enough. But you do not need to go back into your shell.
Yeah.
Like that's literally just something I was like thinking about and feeling today. Like that's my goal.
It's a good goal.
And I really think that like now that I'm aware of it, I'm hoping that like I'm ready to peel and like just kind of get there, man.
Yeah.
It's just funny that like, you know, back to what you experienced early on in South Philly, like I didn't actually experience this for probably the first 5 years of my recovery. I was in a sweet spot. I was very consistent, very disciplined. And I don't think it was until like some other things came up later that like I started really acting on this pattern. You know, so I guess shit just hits you when it's time, dude.
Yeah, I just have things that are way too like entrenched in me that were always like escapes, that are clearly like escapes. Sometimes they're just like really big like comfort tools that I can so easily prioritize over going to a meeting because they've been there for fucking ever. And that's, I kind of hinted at that at the last episode, like things that go all the way back to my childhood. And like those are things that I try to work on. But every time like I wait, like it's important to have that experience of like realizing that you're falling short and setting that standard for yourself, because it's gonna happen again. It will happen again. And like when there, I can always like realize when it's happening now, and I just think back to my past experiences. It's just like we're here again. Like I try to not be super negative about it, because it's just like I can try to avoid it, but if it ends up happening, it just ends up happening. I'm just like, we're here again. You know what you got to do. All you got to do is just move your feet and go back to the room, and you'll be fine. Another thing that I always try to keep, like I try to tell myself in those moments, is just like the basics. Like that's all it is. All AAA is just doing the fucking basics. Like it's nothing more, nothing less. Just everything that you did before.
Yeah, dude, it's funny hearing you say this and like how much I've been thinking about what you just said about like here we are again. Like I've literally been thinking about that almost all day. Like it's kind of crazy, right? But it's like dude, it's so nuts how like you know how we say it takes what it takes.
Yeah.
We usually say that when it comes to like how many arrests you have or how many relapses you have.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing spiritually, dude.
It
like,
is. Yeah.
Like life will take me, I believe life will take me back to the hurdles that I need to face over and over again until I finally just accept it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the spot that I'm at. And like, I think one of the reasons, like subconsciously, why I harped on, do you think that Bill put that first suggestion first in step 10 is because like, I've been trying to do the last couple days, like, yo, like just sit with what you're going through, dude. Like don't be too quick to like try to get out there and whack golf balls or, you know, watch a funny movie or like do whatever. Like sit with it.
You got to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and like let whatever is going on in here like speak a little bit, because there's obviously like something that I need to just like look at and sit with.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm wondering if the reason I asked that question is because like it's where I'm at, you know.
Probably. I got to look back at that might be part of the lost footage. We might never know. We might have to call Lauren and see if she was awake during that part.
I don't think she was.
But dude, I've gotten into like whatever people say, like good recovery. I guess that's what people call it, right? Like that person has really good recovery. I'm just like, what the fuck does that mean, bud? What does that mean? I've had instances of where like I'm doing everything that I should be doing that's good for myself. I'm doing everything properly in terms of like how I'm interacting with other people, trying to be more social, trying to be more responsible, all of those things. And then I have moments where it's just like, it's like I'm a slightly better version of who I was when I was getting high. And that's about it. Like the only difference is like I act a little bit better and I'm not high at the moment. Like sometimes those, like, that's just what it is. And especially my last job, because like I worked on a line, like on a working line with with anywhere from like 4 to 7 other people a day, and got pretty close to those people. But like there were some days where I just didn't say anything, and then I would get through half the day and I would think like, I'm not really saying anything and I'm not really feeling too positive for whatever fucking reason. But like I would just let it, I would just say like, well, maybe that's just like how I'm supposed to feel today. Like I don't know. I never really thought too much. I stopped trying to think a lot into like how my default looks as long as I'm doing like my spiritual work, right? But if I'm like not going to meetings and shit like that, then like I try to change it like actively. But there's also times when like I'm going to meetings and doing all the things and I just have a day where I just end up not really feeling inspired to talk to other people. It's not like I'm trying to avoid them or anything else. I'm just not feeling social. And I try to not like judge myself when it gets to that kind of stuff. Sometimes I go out and try to fix it and start conversations with somebody. Sometimes I don't. I feel like I just kind of talked in a circle. But yeah, I guess what I'm ending up at is I try to not judge myself for how I feel. Basically, like ever. It's I just need to know like whether it's something like I can learn from, something that I need to handle like immediately, or something that I just need to deal with and I know will pass in time, like all that kind of shit.
Yeah, dude, I like pretty much again exactly on that. Like I was sitting over here thinking like, so real quick before I say this, I got this call from like a good friend of mine about 6 months ago. And we were just talking and I was asking him how work was going and kind of just, he was throwing like, things at me that he was working on and like we were just doing our thing and he told me about this friend of his who had died 2 weeks prior. Or
Shit.
you know what, maybe closer to a month prior. So
Okay.
he had a little bit more time to like grieve. And dude, like what he said to me just hit me so hard, man. He said, yeah, dude, like I tried to help this guy so much, so many times. And like he was one of my best friends in the world. And like I ended up finding him dead.
Mm-hmm.
What he said to me was, this is the first time in 6 years of recovery that I can't out-program this. Like he basically said to me, like, I have been able to use the steps and the program to get through pretty much everything I've been through up to this point. But all I'm doing right now is crying, getting really angry, and I just can't seem to let it go.
Yeah, I actually love that. Because I mean, like it's been kind of the same. I feel like I've been able to apply quite a lot about the program, like, but I don't know if it's like routinely applying the program or just time. But when it comes to like 2 of my best friends that passed, that I tried to do damn near fucking everything for, I mean, there are some days still that I fucking cry about it. You know what I mean? But I also don't think of death or somebody dying as needing to be something that the program needs to apply to. Like, I know it's like an all of our affairs thing, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's too big of a statement to say like death has been around since before like spirituality was. You know what I mean? But like spirituality is just like within us, and then like humans have been around, like it's whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's something that needs to be that needs to be like I don't need to do like step 10 when my boy dies. You know what I mean? Like doing like prayer meditation helps a lot, which is what I did. Reading the acceptance passage a lot helped me a lot. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, like I'm starting to think, and I love how the last like one or two of these that we've done, like we've kind of hit on the emotional part a little bit more, you know, because because I'm starting to wonder if like the way I looked at spirituality for a lot of years was so helpful and amazing and like pushed my life like light years ahead, right? But maybe it wasn't exactly how it is for moving forward. And what I mean is like the way that I experienced my spiritual program was it was always solutions.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a problem, there's a formula to apply and a solution to receive.
Mm-hmm.
It's written right in there, right? But what I'm kind of starting to feel, man, is like maybe there's not a solution for everything. Like maybe a broader sense of spirituality for me is I got tools and actions to throw at shit, but some things are not going to really get solved by me engaging in some like course of productive action.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I mean, you already know that because you know that a lot of times inaction is the answer instead of action.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of already know that to some degree.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, man. I just think that I think I'm kind of feeling by like just what's going on around me and in myself that like I'm just allowing spirituality to take on a broader sense. You know, it's like there are certain things that I can solve through responsibility and like, you know, accountability and trying to help others and like trying to be a part of and look out for things like resentment and fear. But the other half of it that goes perfectly in line with that is like there are certain things that I just got to feel and sit with and just allow the road ahead to work out.
Yeah.
And I guess like I guess that while like you're right, intellectually I knew that was true. I just don't know if I've like allowed myself to do that or really like I don't know, I guess just had like the enough pain or something, you know.
One quote that I always liked, I forget if I will say this. I forget if I thought of this or if I got it from somewhere. I'm pretty sure I got it from somewhere though, just because I don't like giving myself credit. It's like one thing to know something and it's another thing to understand it. And that means a lot to me because like I not only have I watched, but I have been one of those people that can spit a bunch of shit about spirituality and AA and like self-help stuff and how to deal with traumas or advice on life in general, and like all this shit, and then also not really understand what that fucking means until I go through something and handle it improperly, and then I go back in hindsight and I was like, oh shit, it was this thing that like I knew, right? But like I didn't get it. And it's yeah, man, I don't know. Like I guess like we're kind of circling around like and like this was like a really big thing that I recognized like a while ago. And it actually kind of made me stop going to meetings a lot. But like I really don't believe like the program has answers to everything. I really don't think so. Like I just think like reality is just more complex than that. I know like simplicity is important, spirituality is important, but I really think like I don't remember it saying anywhere in the book where dude sometimes you just got to go through shit. Like I don't remember that being anywhere in the fucking book. And yeah, like when I started like questioning some things that like AA would teach, and like I would try to it's not too I think it's like around the time where I got my hands on a printed copy of the manuscript, the original manuscript from the GSO office in New York, and I started reading it. I've read it maybe once, so I can't like quote any of the differences. But like, I was just starting to like question a lot of like what the rooms were preaching, especially in the city, and like just starting to like kind of really think not on my own instead of AA, but in my own experiences of AA. And I kind of like lost a lot of like, I don't want to say I lost a lot of friends, but like people definitely started talking to me like less when I would say that kind of stuff. But my experiences were just different than like what they would say. And I don't really know what this train of thought is turning into, but like I really do think like AA is not like an end all be all answer all. It's definitely just like a very, very large, and that's what it's supposed to be, is like a really large like foundation, like a leak proof bottom, like of my toolbox. You know what I mean? And like it's just like a whole, or like 3/4 of my toolbox maybe. Like it's just like a bunch of shit that like really helps me a lot, and I don't think it applies to everything.
Yeah, so remember the other night?
We're supposed to be talking about step 10 and 11, dude.
We are, though. That's what's so beautiful.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm getting retarded again.
So it's like, you remember the other night when I said to you, like, man, it feels like the meetings that I'm hitting, I'm not enjoying.
I do remember.
I think
I've also been there. Yeah.
I think that's part of it, man, is what you just described. Like, I think that the fellowship for me is hope that it will be solved to keep me going, even if it's not being solved. Right? Like it's an incredible way of life and an incredible fellowship. And it's literally given me it has been a crucial part of everything I have in my life today.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying, man. It's like, not everything is like A plus B, you know? And like, I think sometimes unintentionally we give off the impression to people that it is.
I have resorted to that kind of advice, giving that kind of advice to people when they ask me for help, and I've always regretted it.
Me too. And exactly, for me, man. And I used to say this thing to people that makes me cringe when I think about it today.
I have so many of these for myself.
So I used to say to newcomers that it was usually newcomers that weren't applying the teachings.
Yeah.
Like they just didn't really seem there yet. I used to say this to them, and I will cringe just now. If you're struggling every day, all the time, you're probably not doing it right.
You're doing something wrong. Yeah.
Dude, it makes me cringe because it's absolutely not true.
Yeah.
What the truth might be.
Oh, man, dude.
What the truth might be is, from their perspective, I don't know, is I'm really, really trying to like work my way through this. I just don't quite know how to let go of this yet. That's good enough based on what we're talking about.
I would go through like, the checklist of the basics. Like you go into meetings, you talking to your sponsor, you helping other people, you doing commitments, you doing your steps, you're doing your inventories, and they say yes to all those things. And then I end up just be like, oh, well, I don't know. It's exactly how some of those situations would go. And it's so weird because like so many of us kind of didn't grab the spiritual foundation of the program because of resentments towards religion and spirituality that somewhat centered out of like dogmatic thinking. And if there's one thing that none of us like in any respect, not even just religion, is dogmatic thinking. Like if there's not wiggle room or room for me to like experience it and personalize it while being a part of, if I need to do it your way, have your experiences and abide by what you say, like go fuck yourself. But then like a lot of times I would find myself being that way and only resorting to answers that I was taught were the answers. And then out of that, just being like, oh, yeah, I can't. Sorry, dude. I mean, sounds like it sucks, but like,
Yeah.
I got nothing for you, which is also a good thing to say. You know what I mean? Like when you don't know how to help, like stop helping. Like that's what I think. But
Dude, it's just so crazy, man. Like I did this for so long, and I kind of am in this interesting place, and dude, it's all step 10 in my belief. Like it's all as things crop up. Like try your best to apply a set of principles to allow it to take its course, right? To allow a higher power in and other people to guide you. But the only caveat is it doesn't always solve it. And and that's okay, right? And dude, it's crazy. Like back to the fellowship, I've been having.
Are you holding on to a resentment? That was also another big one. You leave something out on your 4th step,
and chances are they are. Like,
I'm not saying that's never the answer.
Yeah, but no, like back to that dogmatic thinking.
I would never say like, dude, maybe you're just like having a bad time. I don't know, dude. Like,
yeah, and it's crazy, man. Like back to the fellowship, real quick.
Snapple Apple, not a sponsor.
I've been going through this thing lately where, I feel very vulnerable when I share at meetings, and the reason for that is because I went from the gig that you and I used to do, where I was, just to say this like properly, like I was in an instructor capacity, and it was not supposed to be like me sharing my problems and like Nick therapy out in the open. So by default, I developed this style of like making it sound like I was okay, and I had it figured out. It's so crazy
that you're saying this,
right?
It's so wild you're saying this.
And I did that in our fellowship for years, man. Like I would go in there when I was not okay, and I would just kind of talk like I was,
like borderline sounding, not even just okay. I'm saying it's crazy that you're saying this because at one point I thought about like how my shares were going. And it's not that I care about what other people think, but I care about how I sound because I think it could tell me something about myself. And that's why I think about it a lot. And I would realize like I'm kind of sharing like to people. Do you know what I mean by that? I'm kind of talking to people and not just like sharing how I feel or what I relate to. Like, it was almost like I was treating meetings like they were just a bunch of fucking guys from 5E. Like, it was so fucking weird, man.
I literally know exactly what you're talking about,
so weird.
dude, and like exactly what you're talking about. And I reached this point a couple years ago, man. It was when COVID hit. Dude, I just got very fellowship lost, bro. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
Like I would go into it. There was a time before you started coming to the home group where I was putting my hand up and literally saying, I don't want to be here, but I want to be here. And I'm not sure how to do that.
Oh, shit.
And like, I think what was actually going on, it wasn't as simple as like, I don't want to be here.
You hold this one and then move it. Yeah.
What was actually going on was I was experiencing exactly what we're talking about, dude. And it's like I kind of lost the ability to share like inauthentically. Like I don't know. I don't think anybody thinks enough about inauthentically.
You lost the ability to
share
fake.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that's where you were going.
And like it's weird, man. Like I don't think anybody thinks about me enough to notice this. But I don't share rosy peaches and cream shit at meetings anymore. Usually what I'm talking about is like, thank God for the program and all of you and what I'm trying to do with this. But here's the problem. And it's weird, dude. Like when you do that with double-digit years of sobriety, people kind of look at you funny. That's at least my perspective. I don't know how true it is. But it's like people look at you kind of funny. And I had this experience in the home group the other day. Like I was sharing about something, and I was basically like opening up about like something that was bothering me. And one of the guys in the back room said to me, said very sidebar passively, go see a therapist. And like,
it's a very general name, so I'm going to say it. Was that Bob?
No.
Oh, fuck.
No.
Damn.
But like,
I'm never going to know everything about that guy. I swear.
But dude, like that fucking pissed me off so bad. I thought about it for 2 straight days.
I would be heated, bro.
But then I also, part of me knew that he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, dude, just I know I'm getting a little lost here,
No,
but
dude,
it's crazy how like yeah, dude, I don't share the way I used to. And that's incredibly uncomfortable.
I like a lot of my shares are just how I like, or just my experience. Like I try to not get too like what I'm struggling with now or anything like that. And I know that could probably help other people, but I believe like that's what fellowship is for. That's my opinion, because that's how I get closer to other people.
Yep.
And I mean, it's not like it doesn't work if you don't share it in the meeting, but I don't know. I just always wanted my shares to kind of be like attempt to like, I guess not attempt, like try to just keep it to like you and your experience with whatever's being taught, and like hopefully somebody else can relate and get something out of it. Like, but not trying to, I don't know if it's because I was exposed to a lot of people that weren't really all there in AA in the city that would just talk about their family members and their job for like 15 minutes. Like one of those people where when you hear their name get called out, you're just like, oh, fuck, here we go. Buckle in. You know what I mean? How do I try to not take my phone out of my pocket for the next 10 minutes while this person's talking? And I just never wanted to like take the group hostage with like my shit. And that's just all me and my perspectives. So like, I try to just keep it to whatever is being talked about.
And I think that like, honestly, dude, like, I think you're absolutely right. Like that's what I was taught as well, and that's what I did for so long, you know. And I feel like kind of crossing that line, if you will, even though it's not that deep, was just
being more vulnerable.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was just sort of a necessary part in like getting me to the next piece, you know. But I do
Fuck with it, dude. I mean, I could also be scared about it. You know, I don't know.
But I do think that like if we're not careful, sometimes you can get to a place where it does turn into amateur therapy a little bit.
Yeah.
So like I see both sides of it, man. But yeah, like back to what you were saying about like it doesn't solve all things.
Oh yeah.
I don't really think it was ever supposed to.
Probably not.
The author was very open in the book that he didn't claim that it was supposed to solve all things.
I mean, he went and ate some fucking mushrooms, but like after all this shit, like
Yep.
he had some more stuff to work on.
Yeah, but dude, it's beautiful though how it can give you hope that it's a solution for all things while you trudge the road of trying to figure out how to solve all things.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, dude. So like, but back to step 10, man. Like, yeah, I just think that my sense of spirituality is kind of like broadening, and it's like
It's incredible, man.
just taking the A plus B equals C and kind of letting it become more of like A plus B plus some other things that you don't know yet, but you're gonna equal C.
So like one of the best things that I ever did was after like I kind of felt like I wasn't getting any more out of what AA had to give me. I know what I feel like when I kind of hit like a spiritual wall and I'm not really learning anything more about myself or like how to interact with the world around me. No different, no new inspirations, nothing like that. And I was always told to be like a seeker and like a seeker of experiences. And I can't get new experiences if I keep doing the same fucking thing. And aside from that, somebody told me like real early on, oh fuck, who was it? I'm not going to remember who it was. But they said, as long as you're like with your gut, like actually giving things a try, giving shit effort, it's still going to work as well as if you were doing it perfectly when it comes to whole spirituality and shit. And the line was that God loves a trier. As long as you're trying, like, God takes care of you. And that's it. He just needs to know that you're trying. There's no, and that bar can seem really fucking high sometimes. But like, that's another thing that I keep in my mind when I'm in that spot. You know what I mean? When I'm in that spot of not being able to get anything out of AA anymore, not being able to just be inspired anymore, which is big for me. Like, I like being inspired. I feel like I can't really do much if I'm not. But anyway, so circling all the way back around, like when I'm feeling like that, historically in a sober sense, like I just go to like other shit. Like that's why I have Carl Jung's book like in the bookcase, and like Nietzsche and other psychotherapists or psychologists, and like I have like a book on Norse mythology because I like reading the stories and the lessons that it learns. I started I'm not a Bible dude, but like some of the stories in the Bible are fucking sick and have a lot of lessons, and for whatever reason hearing the words is like very inspirational and can kind of like that spiritual fire in me again. I have a daily reading book based in Stoicism, like old like Greek philosophers and emperors like Marcus Aurelius, fucking I always forget something. Epictetus or some shit like that. I can picture
his name, but can't say it.
Yeah, I can never fucking say it, dude. Every morning when it's a quote from him, I sit there for 2 minutes trying to read it, and then I remember I have to go put my pants on, so I'm not late for work. But like, I have a daily reading of Stoicism that's next to my bed every morning that I read. I have like a 12-step prayer in my car that I read sometimes. I've read that thing a lot, so like I don't really go to it anymore. But like, seeking experiences was always like big for me. So like not being able to, and then I bring all of that back into AA, and then I bring AA into that, and they all just end up like flowing together like really fucking nicely. And it also builds a sense of like autonomy, because I feel like early on when I felt like AA wouldn't work, I got really scared and shriveled up because I don't want to say I felt like I was wrong, like I was wrong or doing something wrong, but I felt kind of helpless and it scared the shit out of me. But knowing that I could just like just type in like Stoicism in my phone and go down a whole new rabbit hole of like personal growth and accountability, and have new inspirations, new one-liners to keep in your back pocket, have a whole new experience with something else while still committing to this, because AA still helps me a lot. I feel way more capable when I'm at those low points now of low inspiration, because I've had those instances of being there and going out and seeking other things, and they fucking work.
So with what you just said about that, man, I love it personally, because back to dogma, you use the word dogmatic thinking. And I heard dogmatic thinking defined in this one way one time that really stuck with me. They said dogmatic thinking is living with the results of another person's thinking. Like believing that the results that somebody else got are the results that you're supposed to get is dogmatic thinking.
The ones that you need. Yeah, yep. For sure.
And like what I love that. Yeah, dude, what I love about like what you just said through that lens is the only thing that wants me to have a one-size-fits-all solution for everything is my ego. Like, my ego doesn't like the unknown. Mm-hmm. It doesn't want to accept that, like, I may need to open up and broaden to many different channels to get where I'm trying to go.
You're making the spicy now, bud.
Dude,
you're spicing this up a little bit.
Bro, it wants to define things.
I fuck with that. Yeah,
it wants my conception of my own freedom to be a very narrow road that I can always rely on.
Yeah.
But the truth that I think it sounds like we both experienced is it's much bigger than that, dude. And the only way to get there is to like dance with the unknown a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all these other channels are like, for me, how I do it.
Yeah.
And I just like, I love how it feels like I'm allowing myself to do that right now, as uncomfortable as it is.
Yeah.
But like, now that I think about it as we're talking, like, dude, whoever said that like life was supposed to be that fucking cut and dry?
I always love those lines that say like, life, like whoever said this, and it's just some sweeping fucking generalization, and I just never feel more dumb than when I hear that shit said.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like that was a big like step 3 experience for me. Like somebody, it might have been Scott actually, that framed it of like, who the fuck said you were in charge of everything? I'm just like, oh shit, like nobody. Like I just assumed that God role. You know what I mean? I didn't even think about it. I'm just like, yeah, it's me. Come to me. I'm the GC of everything.
Yeah, I got the algebra formula for all your problems. You got this input, I got this and this action that will get you that output. I got you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not knowing that, like, I have no fucking clue how people are going to get where they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
I can give them a helpful blueprint that might really move the needle. But yeah, dude, like I think it's so important to let it broaden. And like another thing that Scott dude said, I told you I was listening to a CD lately that you gave me. He says this line a couple times. He says, if you poke a part of me where I have not experienced healing,
oh yeah,
there is no knowing what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
That's fire, dude.
You brought this up before, yeah.
Dude. Like, but you know, then I think about the word healing. Mm-hmm. Well, like, what's healing look like? Well, I don't really know, but apparently I gotta address some shit. Mm-hmm. And if I had a solution, I would have done it already.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. I it's really important to allow yourself to be open-minded to a new answer, right? And as long as like it's the same thing as like embodying like a step 3 willingness is like the exact sensation that I feel is probably how I can like quantify it. Just knowing like you have to do something, you have to want to find the answer, right? It's exactly how like meditation works. Like meditation is best served as like having a purpose. Like most people will say like you go into meditation like asking a question, and then you come out not with like a fucking thought bubble that you look up at, you know what I mean, like a comic book, but you just end up naturally coming to it, and like that's what it is. And that takes a lot of practice. I'd never got fucking close to that shit. I just use it to stay present. But if you have to like want a new solution and just go out there and just like, I'm gonna get a little heady, but like when you take those inner positions, those like new gut feelings, I almost call it like a gut decision. Like you set within yourself and like reality, like, okay, like I need to work on this thing. Your trajectory in life has shifted at that moment. And you are now not only like going to experience things, or maybe it's just like your third eye opening to things that you will experience and we're already going to experience, but you see them differently. I don't know the order of that, but you're now on this trajectory of answers. And answers are coming, and you just need to be open to the answers not looking the way that you think they should. Because if you do, you're going to miss the real ones. And I don't know if you really know what I'm talking about, but like that is like real-time experiences that I have where it's exactly the same thing of like if you go into a meeting, like you go into a meeting because you're dealing with something. You didn't want to be there, but you went to the meeting, and all of a sudden, somebody is saying the exact fucking thing that you wanted to hear, right? That's what I'm talking about. You just need to be open to that not always being the answer, not always being AA related. It's like the same thing. Those inspirations come from anywhere.
No, dude, that now you're dropping the bombs like it's now you're dropping it because
this is what happens to me,
dude. Like so meditation, right? So I think that my conception of being okay has always looked like me figuring out, call it intellectually or however you want, me figuring out how to go fulfill a role in the world. Mm-hmm. be a little more this way. And I don't want to make it sound like it's like specific or like, you know, performance or methodical, but that's just with a solution-based mind. That's always where I've gone. I have this problem in this area, and if I could just be a little bit more like that, hopefully authentically, it would get fixed. But like the more I sit with myself, dude, like I think on where you were going with that, like what I realize is meditation allows God and my own spirit to speak to who I am and where I'm at. And the more that I can accept myself and be okay with exactly who I am, I can go out in the world and be all right anyway.
And that is only how, in my experience, that's the only way you get new inspirations and opportunities to be a better version of yourself, is by being able to accept who you are right now.
And the funniest part about what we're talking about is for years, therapists would say the key to it all is self-love.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the biggest crock of bullshit I ever
I know
heard.
it's right, but I still think it's fucking bullshit.
But dude, like,
I just don't like the words.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Because they take me to a fuzzy, unknown, lovey-dovey emotional area.
It just sounds very padded room to me, and I'm not into that.
Me neither. But like if I put it through this lens of just like yeah, dude, like to hit on one point you made, I truly believe that if I will sit quiet, and I don't want to make that like I need to just like block everything out for like 4 hours, like I'll be ready to come back out in the world
impossible.
at 5.
Yeah, unless you're enlightened,
you know?
like that's not happening.
Yeah, like, but if I just sit quiet, call it whatever you will, something is going to speak to me.
Yes.
And I really believe that, dude. Like, I really believe, like you said, the openness, dude. Like back to the philosophers. There's some philosopher out there who I read his shit a little bit, and he believed that when a child is born into the world, all knowledge that he will ever need is passed from mother to child in the womb. And that is this is weird and deep, but life is not about learning, it's actually about remembering. Like everything that we need is already inside. We just try so hard to fucking figure everything out that we never ever do. But yeah, I'm sorry, I took us in the weeds, dude.
No, it's all right. I have my head like I think like a quarter of the way wrapped around that. I would probably just need to read.
See, I don't.
The whole remembering thing is like there's this metaphysics to that I would need like sorted out, because that's a big word to use in that situation.
I think it's through the lens of like intuition, dude. Like if we go into the program, right, exactly the step we're talking about mixed with the next one.
I'm sorry, I just don't get why you need to throw the mom in it.
What's that?
Like the mom's transfer of knowledge. That's weird to me. So
it's like it's basically just like a passing from previous being to next being. It like it's essentially saying that like it happens before your own humanity develops.
So is he trying to talk about like the origin of intuition and instincts?
I think so. Yeah, like I think he's basically trying to say that like before our like before our actual birth into the world, we're already complete. We just don't know it.
Yeah, I can't buy into that. I can't buy into that. No, I've sat with it and I can't buy into that. I love thinking about shit like that. It's a very erroneous thing to say to me.
But anyway, like intuition is like something that I think really plays into all this, dude. Like just allowing myself with the openness you described to like allow the next experience to come rather than trying to pigeonhole it through some solution that I used to use.
Embodying, just like just like deciding to relinquish your will, right? Turn it over. You do the same thing to just welcome whatever comes your way. That's all it is. And instead of like, honestly, dude, I feel like I'm gonna probably just talk like kind of weird for a sec, but like we also have to wrap it up soon. I feel like that is like what happens to a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people like fellowship, like in terms of like AA or NA or whatever, just like fellowship, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like they hit a ceiling, and it's like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And then maybe that's when like some people start like doing gym stuff or like all of these like alternative like methods instead of like furthering your inner growth, because I do believe like AA is a foundation, but it's not like the end all be all to like spiritual growth, and there's leaps and bounds that you can make beyond that, even if they're just like little ones. But I really feel like some people are just like, when they're in that spot that I told you about, like I'm doing all the basics, right? Have all the boxes checked, like legitimately checked. Not just like saying that they are, or just doing them to check the boxes. It's like, why don't I feel that way? And like, I remember the last conversation I had with a guy that was like talking to me like that, and it was after I had gone through this whole of like buying like books on stoicism and like reading more about like the shadow and the ego and stuff that like Jung writes about, and just saying like, dude, like I believe like we are meant to learn. Like AA works so well because you're learning all of these things in ways that can be supported by experiences, and they're things that you can experience in real time, not just something that you read on a whiteboard and then start to like write out like 5+2 or something like that. Like these are real things. And I just think it's important to like, I think there is a ceiling. My opinion is that people do have like 12-step fellowship ceilings, and that needs to be like broken through with other things. But I still think it's important to stay true to like the basics of the 12-step program, but just don't shut off like everything else. Like I'm somebody who came in like cursing God and all of this shit and not believing in it. And then now like you'll catch me at like Planet Fitness on the treadmill for an hour and a half listening to like the Book of Genesis for whatever fucking reason, right? But it's incredible. It's awesome. And I'm not about to go to confession. Don't really want to go to mass because I like laying on my couch on Sundays. So I'm probably not going to do that. But like I'm going to broaden my spiritual horizons a little bit, man, because there's so much out there. So much out there. And AA has given me the foundation to understand all of it, which is another cool thing. It's like I can look at anything else, like Stoicism, Christianity, even like parts of like Islam that aren't talking about like being all like exterminating races and shit like that, which like I'll say it, I don't care. And like you can see like you can understand all of these things now and get deeper understandings because they're worded differently thanks to like what AA has given me as a baseline. And it's just super cool, dude. And I used to preach meditation like it was fucking water in RCA, but nobody ever listened to me, so I just stopped.
Dude, so I remember I was thinking about like I used to have these conversations with my sponsor occasionally where he would just kind of get very honest. Like he would, what I mean by honest is opinionated, and it was really refreshing. And he used to say, what you're going to experience in this fellowship is a lot of smacked asses, he would call them. And he would say, what that is a person who has grown just enough to have a structure for living that they can operate in. But they've never allowed themselves to go beyond that. And they typically become resentful, egotistical, and opinionated about everything. Those are the guys that'll sit in the back of the room and wait till the end of the meeting and share at everybody. You know, and he said, like, don't be one of those guys. Like, don't be the type of person that grows and grows and grows and then stops and just takes that level that you're at and tries to run with it forever. Because he would always say, I'm telling you, you will not be a happy person.
You don't say spiritual kindergarten for no reason, right?
Yep.
I didn't stop going to school at kindergarten, didn't get a diploma, wasn't working 9 to 5 the next day, right?
That's right.
Kept going.
Yeah, dude, and like just to kind of bring it all full circle, man. Like it's amazing that I'm gonna be working on the things I'm gonna be working on as they come at 40. I would have liked to have done it at 30, but it is what it is, man. You know, and like it's just so helpful to like just kind of say on a lot of what we talked about, like I'm just gonna keep hitting the next chapter and like accept where I'm at and like just trying to grow with it. But yeah, dude, like as this shit crops up, like I never know when or how I'm gonna experience what I need to experience. And I do think that like the maintenance steps of the program are trying to teach just that.
Yeah.
You know,
Just trying to I mean, like literally addressing the steps head on, which I guess we haven't really done once, but I really like this whole, like all these conversations have been really sick. They've been awesome. They're meant to just like establish like normal, like this is the behavior in like CBT, right? Like behavior therapy. This is when the behavior comes in of like us doing different than like what we've always done in like any given situation. Like now you do have a formula from moment to moment when you can plug this in and what, like 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 it'll work. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes you just got to go through shit, and that's all it is. And then like step 11 for me is just always keeping that like there's like those childlike like eyes of like wonderment kind of in a spiritual like metaphysical sense, and continuing on your spiritual practices, furthering yourself in reading spiritual literature, trying to like get yourself to be more in the present moment so you can see what like God is putting in front of you, and yeah, just keep growing spiritually.
Yeah, dude, I I love it, man. Like if there is a trait that I could bottle and sell in recovery circles, it would be curiosity.
I love that.
Like I really think that like staying open and curious to how much better it can get is like the difference between a happy and fulfilled life for a lot of people and a roadblock that people don't get past and they turn around and run the other way. Like if I could bottle it, man, I would for free just spread it out to the masses.
It's so funny because it's almost like that's what's replaced fear is curiosity, right?
It's dude, it's like it's just so amazing that like some people have it or develop it.
Yeah.
Maybe some people don't. I don't know, but like I'm just so grateful that like having good people around me
Same.
fucking triggered that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yo, what happens if I blank?
Yeah.
What could it be like if I blank? That's the shit that changes everything.
What changed everything for me was like knowing that, and again, somebody who just like ends up reading a Bible on a treadmill, like God is everything. And because like no human power could ever keep me sober, right? I can't rely on humans to keep me sober. I can rely on humans in a sense where like if I'm looking for like God's communication, like humans are really good at that. But I know I've never tried to act in a spiritual sense with other people in mind. It was always with God in mind. And if other people were helped, that's like a side effect, a positive one. And I just full-fledged like have trust in whatever the fuck this thing is. And that's where like the curiosity comes from, because I'm always rewarded when I pursue like the positive forms of curiosity for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I'm going to go get this book real quick, and we're gonna read.
Okay.
What is the thing for the day? Super quick. This. I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to show this. So it's Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. It might be a little dirty because this thing's seen some shit. But so today is March 16th. And it says, so at the top there's like there's a quote by fucking whoever. And then at the end it's literally just like a just for today or a daily reflection. So it says, shit, I forget that I'm doing this, and your dog's licking my toe. Hold sacred your capacity for understanding, for in it is all that our ruling principle won't allow anything to enter that is either inconsistent with nature or with the constitution of a logical creature. It's what demands due diligence, care for others, and obedience to God. And that is by this from Meditations, the Marcus Aurelius book. And the meditation on it, jeez, doing that little stair run got me. The fact that you can think, the fact that you can read this book, the fact that you are able to reason in and out of situations, all of this is what gives you the ability to improve your circumstances and become better. It's important to appreciate this ability because it's a genuine ability. Not everyone is so lucky. Seriously, what you take for granted, others wouldn't even think to dream of. Take a little time today to remember that you're blessed with the capacity to use logic and reason to navigate situations and circumstances. This gives you unthinkable power to alter your circumstances and the circumstances of others. And remember that with power comes responsibility.
It's like a nice blend of a lot of shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could really. I've watched a lot of videos that hint at and touch on stoicism, but I like that, man.
I kind of pick and choose with the whole thing, but like there's a lot more that I pick out of it than a lot more that I choose to leave there.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of it does like a lot with like taking control of things, and like I don't know. Not doing that too much has worked out really well for me, so I don't even bother with that. But yeah, there's a lot of really good shit in here.
It's fire, dude. Thanks for reading it.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Good
Thanks
shit,
for caring.
Good to be seen, right? You one of those fucking guys?
Always.
Oh my god.
Always.
Oh my god, dude. Yo, I love my old heads, bro. But say something else, please. Please don't say that. It's good to see. Oh, it's good to be seen. Yeah, but like, okay. What a selfish fucking thing to say back to me. Old bitch.
It's like when Father Martin's talking about when you go up and thank a speaker, and you say, "Hey, man, thank you. I really got a lot out of what you had to say." And they say, "Oh, yeah, thank you. I didn't think it was that good." He says, the next thing you should say to them is, "You're right. It sucked."
Yeah.
Don't try fake humility with me, buddy.
Oh, that makes me insecure. Because I don't know if I do that or not. I feel like I might.
You don't. And if you do, who cares?
Well, I care. So that
union.
That is all the time we have. Yeah, I got 5 minutes, and I'm also gonna order food.
Yeah, thanks for a fiery chat, bro.
Absolutely.
I hope people got a lot out of this.
This was incredible. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but I should really clickbait the title and just say like Jeremy and Nick give their honest opinions on AA. So it'll be good. It'll be good. A lot of internet traffic for sure. Maybe we'll get like 5 viewers instead of 2. It'll be sick. Anything else, dude?
Nada.
All right. Until next time, God bless you. We love you, and we hope you heard something that helps you. I won't leave you there. Or did you have something to say?
Go Union and
See, I was gonna cut you off because you don't fucking say anything.
I know, dude. But I'm feeling pressure. Like, just go Union and yeah, dude. Happy to be alive and healthy and hell yeah. That's it.